Good morning. It is Monday the 21st of October. My name is Jason Sen from daytradeideas.com. We're looking at a weekly chart of cable, pound versus the US dollar. As you can see, this goes back about 2.5 years to the early part of 2011, and we're up testing this 2.5 year trend line up the top here, this black line. You can see we tested it a couple of weeks ago. Managed to just blip through on the week, got to 162.60, I think the high was, but we sold off quite aggressively from there, and we closed near the low of the week. You can see on this candle, this red candle here with the spike higher. Since then, we've managed a good recovery last week, and we've retested the trend line at 162.25. But again, we've rejected that. We'll have a look at the daily chart in a minute just to have a closer look at this sort of area. But you can see this is proving to be strong resistance, which is what you would expect, especially with the market so overbought on the weekly stochastics here. So this is the daily chart. You can see the trend line up here with the black trend line, and you can see how this area was rejected on Friday with the spike higher and a close quite near the open. So as I say, we are struggling at this trend line here. Not quite overbought on daily stochastics, but we've got to be careful because we could see a sell-off back down to the 160.00 area, and perhaps even around those lows of 158, sort of 159.00, 158.95 area, which did hold up very well for several days on the trot, as you can see down around there. Just going to open this chart up a little bit, have a closer look at it. We'll put a trend line on here, and you can see that this trend line's worked very well since what day is this? The 9th of July. Sorry, the 7th of September, I should say. So it's worked very well over the last couple of weeks, this trend line, and we gave it a good test here on 2 or 3 days, and we never managed to close below it. So that trend line did its job. You'll also notice, if I stick some Fibonacci levels on here, that this was good Fibonacci support. There we go, 159.19. You can see that was holding almost perfectly each of these days when that was tested. So the combination of trend line and Fibonacci support worked very well there. I'll just take this one off to make it clearer. There we go. And so now the question is, can we get through this trend line, this 2.5 year trend line at 162.25? We'll need to see a close above there in order for bulls to start being optimistic again, and really we'll need to see at least an intraday close an intraday push above 162.60. So the first step would be a close above 162.25, and the next step would be a push above 162.60 for cable. If we don't see that, and there is a risk that we don't, this is very strong resistance, then I'm pretty sure we'll be back around the 159.20 area again. And of course there is a risk that we'll break it this time and head towards 157.10 area. So those are the sort of parameters for cable. If I flick back to the weekly chart here, then if we do start to get through 162.60, we could be powering on to this level here. This high is 163.82. That was last seen, actually that's the 31st of December last year. So that could be the next target, 163.82, if we do manage to get through the 162.60 level. But it's going to be a struggle, I would imagine, this week. Maybe we'll just hover around below this trend line before to allow the daily stochastic to get into overbought territory and then drift lower into the end of the week down to the 159.20 area. I'd say that's the most likely scenario. We'll see as the week progresses. Thanks very much. I'm Jason Sen from daytradeideas.com.